podcast, the Down to Earth Network, with your host, Sean Myrie. Yep, please like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. This episode is called Collusion. Yes, collusion. Uh, America and Canada. If you want to know what collusion means, it means it's a secret agreement, deceitful, right, between two parties or more. Um, to make you think that they're in competition with each other, but they're really defrauding everybody. So, collusion is what's going on. It goes with illusion. America and Canada been working with each other and they're still working with each other throughout this tariff stuff that Trump was throwing at us and his 51st state. That was all collusion. If you don't know, that is collusion. A big illusion, making you all think that America and Canada are against each other in some type of way. But really, Mr. Carney and Trump, they're both together. Um, Correct me if I'm wrong. Carney was the minister of finance for Canada, and he has some type of business in America. So don't forget that, right? He's the prime minister now, but he was doing some business in America before he was the prime minister. So collusion is that two parties working in secret, right, to show, defraud people like they're competing against each other. And you know what they're doing? You know what they're doing? They're working with each other. So do not be fooled that Canada and America are separate. Do not be fooled. A lot of Americans may think that way. A lot of Canadians may think that way, but it's not that way. In reality, Canada and America have been working together forever, and still are. They're working with each other. So, how they're working with each other? Through military, through intelligence, through their organizations, through trade. The list goes on. Canada is a great partner with America, vice versa, right? Before the 2000s, right before the 2000s, they had a plan to have Canadians and Americans go freely through the border, right before 9/11 happened. They were going to have a special highway going straight to America and back to Canada, back and forth. So, but that stopped after 9/11. So um, people might think Canada is by itself independently, but Canada's really with America in a lot of agreements. It may look like they don't agree, but no, Canada and America agrees on a lot of things because we're partners, right? So collusion is like an illusion to make you think that they're not really with each other, but they're in agreement with a lot of things to deceive the world. Trust me. Just the other day I was saying that when Trump went to Venezuela and he done what he was doing with the military, they asked the Prime Minister of Canada how he feels about it. You know what he said? He basically said it's basically we welcome it. Canada said we welcome it. So what does that mean? That means he's with it, with Trump. Carney welcomed it. What does welcome it mean? They asked him if he agreed with Trump what he was doing, and he said he welcomed it. So that means they agree. So when people are thinking that Canada is separate with a lot of the judgments, what they do, no, a lot of the times Canada will watch what America does and make a decision from that. A lot of the times, in a lot of the conflicts, they'll watch what America does and they will agree with it. Now, the Ukraine war is an example. Canada wasn't in the Ukraine war before America. We weren't in the war before America. like, I mean, help wise, right? Um, America helped Ukraine a long time ago before the Russians really went there physically. And then I'm talking about America. They were helping with weapons a long time ago. And then Canada stepped in when Russia started to attack Ukraine, right? So Canada and America been working with the Ukraine, been working together for a good while. So when people are thinking that Canada and America is completely separate and has nothing to do with each other, you're completely wrong, right? They do a lot of Canada and America does a lot of joint operations, especially with the border. They both work together 100%, and with defense. So collusion, look up the word, look it up. That's really what's going on, right? So when you think that these two countries are against each other, no, they're working with each other. Sometimes you gotta put out a illusion to fool people, and that's what's going on. They put out certain things to fool people to make you think that they are not on the same page, right? And that's what they're doing, a secret agreement against others, other countries, secret agreement to work with each other, right? So, meanwhile, it may look like America doesn't see eye to eye with Russia or China. For example, you see Canada doing some business deals with China, at the same time, good with America. So, who does that help? When Canada is good with a lot of countries, that helps America too, and vice versa. When America is good with a lot of countries, that helps Canada also. Right now, Canada's not good with Russia too much, right? But they still work with each other. But America, they're on and off with Russia. So collusion, other countries know they're not that stupid, but they have an idea that Canada is working with America. Of course, they're both together. They share a border. They do the most trade. Who does the most trade in the world like together? Right? It's Canada and America. America gets the most stuff from Canada, and we vice versa. We're getting the most stuff from America. Nobody else. Right? We share a lot of things. So, like it or not, Canada and America, they're both together. That's the reality. They're both together with the military exercises, with a lot of political stuff in the world, and the meetings. I don't know if a lot of American folk know this. There's a lot of meetings. I think it's the G7 meeting or something. They have a couple meetings up far north in Canada, right? And the president of the United States, whatever president, they always come to Canada and talk with the prime minister and other leaders of the world secretly. Let me say it again. The G7 nations or whatever, and sometimes they have other meetings, they come all to Canada, far up north somewhere, and have some mystery meeting. Trump's been to one or two of them, right? And no one talks about that. It's not in America they do this meeting. They do it in Canada. Think of it. They don't do the G7 or whatever secret meetings they have done with all these different nations. It's all the way in Canada, up north, far up north somewhere, where nobody knows about. So stop thinking that America is just by themselves. No, America's not by themselves. Not a lot of people are really together and making people think that they're not together. Like China and Russia's together, for example. We know that China and Russia have a good relationship. And China and Russia have an idea that America and Canada are to get they're the same shit. They look on Canada and America as the same. The only difference is the politics a little bit. That's it. That's it. But they do look on them as the same shit. Don't think that they look on them any different. I'm talking about Russia and China look on America and Canada as the same. So when you heard about the 51st state, that's for real. And the Prime Minister of Canada has some type of interest in America before he was the Prime Minister, right? This man has some type of business. I forgot what he had. I think it's New York. Carney, the Prime Minister, had some type of investment in New York or America before he was the Prime Minister. This man was the Finance Minister for Canada, handling all the money. How much people know that this Prime Minister is very well trained in finance, knows a lot about economics. This is it's a economic prime minister. So they have him in place because they knew Trump was going to bring on something like the tariffs. They knew about that. So the perfect guy to deal with Donald Trump or the Republican was this guy. Just look up Carney. Look up Carney. Look up the Prime Minister of Canada, and you're going to see what I'm talking about. Just look him up, right? He got that position because the previous Prime Minister stepped down. And then, a lot of people feel that he shouldn't be in power right now because it wasn't fair or whatever they might say. There's a lot of uprising right now. Well, a couple uprisings in Canada for this guy, Carney. So, collusion, right? People, if you're watching, look up collusion. And it's an agreement, a secret agreement between two or more parties, right? To basically fool people, right? And make competition, make it look like you're competing when you're really working with each other. That's what it is. They'll make you think that they're competing, that they don't agree with each other. It's called reverse psychology. Meanwhile, they're fooling you, right? One's watching for the other, watching this one's back, the other one's watching the other back. Yeah, because Canada knows all about what's going on in Greenland a long time ago. They know all about what Russia and China's been doing up north, if you want to call it, a long time ago, right? I seen it. They have a documentary on it. Canada been knowing what's going on about Russia and China, their interest in Greenland, right? So Canada recently, not too long ago, they have built, well, over the years, they have built a big military style, what you call it, base or ship up north. There's a huge high tech military type of, I don't know what you call it. It looks like a city, right? And the reason why they built that in secret, and they showed it one time, right, on some program I was watching, and it's to watch the Russians to defend up where Canada claims to defend up north, wherever far, far, far up north, to watch the Russians and I guess China because they want to claim something what is Canadians. And guess what? Right? Probably America's helping with that. Guarantee America is probably helping Canada with that base, what they got far, far, far up north. If you see this base, it is huge. It looks like a city. I don't know. It's big, right? So collusion, probably 60 minutes. Haha. Yup. Collusion. Look up collusion. It could be 60 minutes. No, I think it was American program. I mean, a Canadian program. They were showing this new base or whatever. It looked like some new style type of military base. Huge, huge. Never seen anything like this. And it's Canadian, which I think America helped with it, to watch over certain area where they believe the Russians have their subs, and where they believe China has some subs too. So they've been watching them. But this base is hell of a big. I didn't even see America with one of these yet. Some high tech shit. And I don't think they ever show. I would have to look this up on the net again if they have it, if they have any more pictures of this thing. But anyways, collusion. I don't know. It sounds like an illusion, and I don't know if Americans, any Americans, will know about this or think like this, that Americans and Canadians are working with each other, which they are. They've been working with each other for years. For years and years, they've been working with each other. All the presidents been working with each other, with Canada, with the prime ministers for a long time. They always come to Canada for meetings constantly. It always comes. Fusion of collision. Yeah, it sounds like that. Collision, collusion, confusion, all types of stuff, right? But when you look up the word, it's for deceitful, deceiving people, right? To deceive people in an agreement between two or more parties. And what governments are doing that besides China and Russia? What other governments do you think are working together to fool the world, right? To control certain agendas? Just look up the resume. Canada and America have been doing it. They do it for years, especially the recent one, Ukraine. They've been doing it. It seems like America passed over Ukraine to Canada because Canada is dedicated its military just to Ukraine, and we're fighting. Really, we're fighting against Russia. Canada's fighting against Russia, and they're not talking about it. If you are supplying hundreds of millions of dollars to Ukraine, who's Ukraine fighting? Russia. When you see Zelensky come to Washington and beg Trump to help them more, right? That means America, even before Canada, been helping Ukraine. So Canada and America are working with each other right there, right there, right? So it's facts with this collusion stuff. What's going on? Big facts. And if you ever look up the G7 meetings or the secret, to me, it's a secret meeting. If you ever look it up, the presidents are coming to Canada in some secret locations with other leaders of the world, talking about stuff we don't really know. They might say they're talking about oil, or they're talking about trade, or they're talking about the environment. They're talking about, that's what they will give the media. We're talking about human rights, all types of those. Those are the stuff they'll give the media. We're talking about treaties or whatever, but you never hear them doing that in any other country. They're not going to China to do no meeting. They're not going to Russia to do any meeting. And they're not even going to America to do any meeting, but they're coming up to Canada to do the meeting. That's what's going on. So collusion, look it up. And for Canadians who think that you're not with America, you're in illusion. You're in a big illusion if you think that you're not with America. You are with America. And America is with Canada. 100%. The militaries work with each other. Yeah. So there's been talk, right? And I don't listen to psychics really, or people who say that they see the future, but there's one I seen this post. I guess I don't know if she's a psychic or whatever, but she was talking about world events and stuff like that. But one of the events she was saying that there's going to be two nations, right, in collusion to fool the rest of the world. Two nations in collusion to fool the rest of the world. So we do know already Russia and China work with each other. They're the biggest over there. So who are they talking about? Who are they talking about? Sounds like Canada and America, the ones who play the superheroes of the world, the good guys, supposedly the good guys. Those are the ones you see, you hear, oh yeah, that's Canada. They're a little bit nicer, a little bit different. Oh, that's America, right? No, it's all the same shit, right? Just different, little bit different politics. That's it. Like I said earlier in this live, before the 2000s, there was a plan to have, I forgot the highway's name, the name of it. They were going to make people from Canada just drive freely into America. All they would have to have is some type of a sensor on their vehicle, and they could just go through, no stopping, no checking. That vehicle basically has something like an ID. Vice versa, that would happen. Any American could drive through the border to Canada, not no stopping, just go freely, right? That's what was going to happen. That was the beginning of something, but that stopped because of 9/11. That's all stopped because of 9/11. That was supposed to uh, be in action probably by time when 9/11 came around. It had been seeing that story from I think I was in high school, right? I remember hearing about that. I forgot the name of the highway they were calling it, but that's an example. Canada and America share a border. Canada and America have the biggest trading partners, more than anybody in the world. We share a lot of waters, right? Ports going back and forth, not too far from Niagara Falls. Canada has Niagara Falls and America's Niagara Falls, very close. Good morning, Charisse, Brewster, much respect. So, anybody know what collusion is and who you think is doing it right now? Who's doing it? Because we already know Russia and America are together. I mean, Russia, well, they do sometimes in the past, but I mean, Russia and China, we all know they're together. Russia and China is together. So, Canada and America, because a lot of Americans probably think, no, we're not with Canada. A lot probably think, no, we're not with Canada. Hell no, we're not with them. We got our constitution and we're completely different and stuff. And after then, there's some Canadians who think the same. But no, no, sorry to burst the bubble. Sorry to burst the bubble. Canada and America are together. And Mr. Carney, Mr. Carney has business in America before he was a prime minister. This man has investments in America. He's keeping that quiet. That man is keeping that quiet, man. The finance minister for Canada has business in America. Yeah, go look up Carney. I go look up Carney. Look up the Prime Minister of Canada, and you'll be shocked about certain things. When he became the Prime Minister, I was like, kind of, who is this guy? Never heard of him. Never heard of him. And then I look him up. This man was the finance minister. handling all the money. He wasn't appointed the prime minister. I hope you guys know. He was just put there because the other prime minister was facing so much pressure that he stepped down, and then he took over the party, and then they had these forced elections, and this guy won or something. Like, that was no real election, right? So the guy who's in power now is basically put there. He's put there. I've seen it coming. He's put there, and he knows about economics. Um, he has some link to Britain. He has a link to Britain, UK, right? I think he actually worked. Like I said, look him up. I think he worked, or he was running one of their bank systems. Yeah, the Prime Minister of Canada, I think he was working for the UK government, which is weird. I know that we're under whatever the UK and shit like that in some type of way, loyal to the Queen, but you should look that up. You should look that up. I'm not just talking. This guy is a mystery to a lot of Americans, but he is somebody who's different. There's no prime minister that ever been like this guy. None. Never had one like this guy. This guy came in like he was a hero to some. But now, he's putting down the law, this guy. He's doing a lot of things. He's not popular in Canada. I hope you guys know. This guy's a lot of Canadians do not like their prime minister. He's he's stopping immigrants from he's cut that down. He's stopping immigrants. He's deporting people. Um, he's cutting things, doing all types of shit. All right, and he likes Trump. And a lot of Canadians, there's a lot of Canadians. I don't know what they're thinking. Like, if they don't see it, but your prime minister like supports Trump 100%. He supports Trump. So look on that, and he'll be the prime minister after Trump is gone. The side character that supports the down, the down of the world. Yeah, probably they don't give a shit. Collusion, right? Carney, Donald Trump. It's the collusion. He don't care because, like I said, he wasn't appointed. He wasn't elected to take leadership. It was all because I don't know what you call it. The other guy, Trudeau, was tired of it. So he stepped down. People was revolting against him, calling him out. Trudeau, the previous guy, he was good, but Trump didn't like him. Think of Trump was criticizing Trudeau from his last administration. He didn't like him. So guess what? And then from that, Trudeau was getting ripped up from Canadians. They didn't like what he was doing and what he believed in. And then he stepped down. Now he's living his good life with American musician Katy Perry. Now him and Katy Perry are living their good life. So he doesn't give a shit about being the prime minister no more. But now we got this new guy, older guy who knows the system, a money man, right? He is a money man. He finance, I think ex-finance minister, deals with the money and economics. That's why he's in power. So the tariffs, what Trump tried to put out, this will show you they're in collusion. When Trump was threatening tariffs to everybody, he put tariffs on Canada. Let me say it again. When Trump was threatening everybody, he put tariffs on Canada. Guess how long those tariffs lasted for? Did you think they lasted until now? He took them off. He was bluffing. Big old tough Trump with America was putting all these tariffs on Canada. Why did he take it off? Because they're together. He took off these tariffs quick. So if he's so tough with these other places, why didn't he keep playing tough with the tariffs on Canada? Why didn't he keep those tariffs on to make us suffer? He could. Well, I would think he could put the tariffs on Canada. Keep bringing the tariffs or whatever. Put the tariffs on Canada. He didn't. He didn't. He didn't. He was just bluffing. He was bluffing. He took off whatever he was trying, and there's no tariffs. There's no big tariffs on Canada at all. So that shows you that Trump does bluff. We called his bluff. He says he's doing all these tariffs, and when it came to Canada, he took that shit off because you know why? America needs Canada, vice versa. America needs Canada, right? Collusion. They're working with each other. America does need Canada, 100%. And anybody who feels otherwise is in an illusion because they're doing collusion. Just look up the word collusion and you see what I'm talking about when you look up collusion. Just look up the word collusion. And this is what they're doing right now. They're doing this right now, right? America's working with China, the big bad China. Maybe, and I guarantee a lot of Americans will say, China, China, the communists. America's working with China. Hell no, bro. Learn a new word. Have you learned one? You probably did. You learned collusion. China, a lot of Americans probably think that they're the biggest threat, the biggest enemy. Trump calmed them down, right? With the oil. That's all they care about is money. That's all they care about is money. I was living in Hong Kong. Hong Kong, wasn't that colonized or you'd say by America? Wasn't that what you say influenced by America? Didn't they just get their independence a couple of years, like maybe 15 years ago or something, right? So Hong Kong is just back with China not too long ago. America works with China. Meanwhile, you're hearing Trump talk all types of shit, like they're the public enemy number one of the public enemies. They've been working with them. So the reality is that, like I'm saying, the title of this is collusion. America and Canada is showing you a illusion. If you think that they're separated in any way, no, they're not. They're not separated. Right now, they're doing a joint operation to capture a big drug lord, a drug kingpin who's a Canadian. The FBI and the RCMP are working with each other. When they had this conference, right, and I think it was Washington or somewhere in America, guess who was on stage with them? It was the RCMP Canadians. Oh, yeah, they were there with them, standing tall with the FBI. So, what does that show you? What does that show you? They're together, man. And vice versa. There's been FBI, I swear there's been FBI that came into Canada to do certain things. How much of you Americans know that? You guys being fooled, some of you, to think that your government is just doing things for America. Smart Americans know that they're not. Smart Americans know what I'm talking about, right? And before Donald Trump, Obama came to Canada a lot, right? Before Donald Trump, who's the other guy who was before Donald Trump? I think Biden came here, right? He was friendly. a little bit. But what's his name again? George Bush? Oh yeah. Oh yeah, friendly. Every president what I know of since I've been alive been friendly with Canada, been coming to Canada, and the Canadian Prime Minister, vice versa, goes to America. And they're always talking about trade, and they're always talking about the border, they're always talking about the immigration together. Everything they're talking. So, I think a big percentage of Americans think that Canada is completely separate from America. That's the biggest illusion. I think a big population of Americans think that Canada and America are completely separate, that they're not working with each other. You know what? The other way around, Canadians know, there's a good percentage of Canadians that know that we work with Americans. The problem, what the most dangerous thing, and I feel sorry for a lot of Americans, right? And I can't blame them because a lot what I've witnessed over the years, and respect to my American people, is that you guys are in a bubble. This is why it's so dangerous in the world for you. You guys don't know, and it's not everybody, but a big percentage of you are ignorant to learn about the world besides yourselves. And that's why things happen to you guys a lot because you are not educated about the world, just yourselves. That's what I see a lot in a lot of different situations. And it doesn't have to be even world events, just anything. It's like clueless stuff. I know we see America's like a movie. Everybody in the world sees what America's doing, right? It's Hollywood. We see it. We see the politics. If not, we probably know some of the politics more than some Americans. We see the politics, but you guys don't know nothing unless you're educated about other places. Unless you're really not ignorant, you don't know anything about other places. I've seen some stupid remarks about other places, and it's not like that. I heard some Americans thinking that we live in igloos, thinking that we live in igloos, and all types of other shit. Trump will liberate Canada. Canada's already liberated. We don't need no Trump to liberate Canada. Trump is not going to do nothing to Canada because Canada and America are working with each other already, right? Canada and America are already working with each other already. Yes, a lot of them don't know anything. There's a big percentage that don't know anything about Canada. And I know that from a long time ago. So I keep saying that. America controlled by America or some other country. America, well, when? It depends the time. Probably a long time ago by Britain. The UK at one point was controlled, right? And then they rebelled and became independent. So your question was America controlled by America or some other country? No, America became independent from the British Empire, right? And Canada still is under the Queen, even though Canada wants to claim they're independent or something, all right? But Canada and America is in collusion together. And like I've said, it's not just this war stuff. Like bless up, what's his name? Old man John Crow. Um, yes, a lot of them don't know a lot of stuff unless they're educated. I've seen a lot of ignorant, whatever, talk about certain countries, and it's not like that. It's nothing like that. Like I'm saying, do you do your research, right? I've seen a lot of talk about certain things, and it's not like that. It's completely false. I feel like today's time America was controlled by some country, something like Britain. Some people may say that. Some people may say that Britain is the mother of America and Canada. Some people may say that, but Americans don't want to hear that. They don't want to hear that, right? Some people may say that Britain is the mother of Canada and America, which it that's where the English language originated from. If it wasn't for UK, there would be no America. There would be no Canada if they didn't start to do their colonization. So really, they said, I'm ready to become the 51st state, right? So are you ready for the laws to change? Where are you from? Are you from Canada? That's my question. That question, kid 4716 or whatever. Yeah, are you from Canada? Are you ready for the laws of the American style laws? Not me. I'm sorry. I'm not ready for that. The sentence I meant not Britain. Oh, not Britain. You didn't mean Britain. Okay. But the person who said they're ready to be the 51st state. So you're from Canada. Are you ready for the American laws? Even some Canadians are idiots too. Some Canadians don't know nothing about America. There's certain ones. Are you ready for what the laws they have down there to if they apply to here? If they were to do that, if America was to fully say we're taking over Canada and they took over Canada, would you accept some of the laws what they have down there? Because some of the laws a lot of people don't want. Are you ready to pay for your health care through through your pocket? You have the job for that. Are you ready to get locked up for some ridiculous shit? Because they'll lock you up. Some people are in prison for some ridiculous shit down there. I seen documentaries on some people lock you up for anything down there. America, we are they'll lock you up for anything down there, man. Spitting on the street, they'll lock you up for. So good luck. I'm not ready for no 51st state. Hell no. Even though they're kind of working with each other, slowly changing. You see certain things in Canada slowly changing like it's America, right? Certain things are slowly changing, trust me. Prefer America as neighbors. See, you prefer America as neighbors. They're neighbors, and there are partners in the world, right? Neighbors only. See, there's a Canadian on here saying neighbors only, no 51st state. So whoever that person is who says they want the 51st state, if you're Canadian, there's a other Canadian who's saying neighbors only. Old man John Crow. Neighbors only. Don't want them to don't want to be part of America. America has a lot of problems, first of all. Nowhere is perfect. You see what's going on in America. A lot of problems. I don't think I would want my child, and nowhere's perfect, knowing that they're going to school and some big shootings happening. How much school shootings I've seen since I was in high school. Damn. Maybe in the last 5 years, there must have been like over 20 school shootings or university shootings in America. Listen, no is perfect. Nowhere is perfect, right? People will criticize other countries. But one thing, because you guys put it on television, I'm going to say this, and it might hurt some feelings. America, you can't talk about nobody with no moral shit at all, especially people who do their research. Because I seen a lot of injustice in America, what is fucking crazy, right? And you have these, yeah, gun laws, yes, the right to bear arms. Then you have these crazies who get these guns and shoot up 30 people, 20 people, 10 people. Frig that shit. 51st state? To have mad people with weapons just shooting anybody, they'll give their child a gun to train with and then go anywhere and shoot people. There's been those stories, tons of those stories. I could go on. There's so much other shit. Then in your cities, because people want to talk about 51st state, you have cities riddled with crime. You have places like Chicago, which is the lowest crime, what is called murder rate this year. Congratulations, 400 and something murders, Chicago. Then you have a place like Detroit. You want to talk about Canada? They have so much murders. I don't even know how much murders they have this year. And then, man, I could keep going. In the AIDS in New York alone, I think it was New York State, they were saying there's like 30,000, if not more, people with HIV walking around. You got Atlanta, what is infected with AIDS. What are you talking about? Canada's not perfect, but don't even try to fucking talk, because I could keep going. I could keep going. You want me to? This is a man who knows his research on America. I don't just fucking talk. I know the shit, right? So he says, as Canadian, I would never let America get invaded. I would never make America get invaded. I love Americans. I just don't want to be one. Yes, a lot of Canadians love Americans. I don't know if we get the same love back, but we love Americans. Trust me. Trust me. A lot of Canadians love Americans. That's why a lot of Canadians visit America. But with the the morality or trying to say that you guys are all nice and all good. No one's perfect. Even Canada ain't perfect. Canada has a lot of dirt too. Canada ain't no friggin' bed of roses either. It's very corrupt shit in Canada. But it ain't the same as America. And we could count population. There's other places where have similar populations to America, and they don't have all those problems. So I don't want to hear that. Right? There's other countries with 1 billion people, two countries, China and India. Let me say it again, China and India, and they don't have the problems like America. Okay? So it doesn't matter if your country has 350,000, a million people. There's small countries with high crime rates too. There's small, let me say it again. There's small countries with very high crime rates and disease. Just America is fucked up through history because how it was captured. That's it. It's cursed. And Canada is cursed with blood from the natives and the slaves, what they had. Do you think America would have been a perfect country how it was built, how it was made with their history? No, it's fucking haunted from all them if you believe in spirits, from all those deaths of the natives and them slaves doing all types of shit for hundreds of years and wars, civil wars, people getting hanged. The list goes on. Oh, they don't have freedom. Freedom is an illusion. Everybody has their definition of freedom. Everybody has their definition of freedom. Does America really have freedom? You've seen it now. You're seeing it now. Freedom is an illusion. No one has freedom. Not even Canada, you have freedom. Freedom what? Could I go into a store and just take anything I want? No. They have something called the law. And who makes the law? Who made the law? The colonizers, the people who's in control. You can't just go out in the street and do whatever you want. So there is nothing. Freedom is an illusion. The only difference with China is that they make sure and they're making you know that you ain't gonna do anything you want. They're making you know through example, right? Rich run the world. Yes, old man John Crow. It's been like that since Moses. Yeah, there's no freedom. And people want to say, you're crazy. Oh, I could do whatever I want. No, you cannot do whatever you want. And they're closing in. They're taking away people's rights every day. So what freedom do you have? What is the freedom? They're taking away people's shit all like they're doing it in a slick way. For example, the TikTok. The reason America was banning the TikTok because they're saying that China was using that to spy on Americans. Is that true? I don't know. But if it's a lie, it's because they want to see what's going on and they want to spy on you. So if the American government or the Canadian government is spying on you, what freedom? Like I said, the title is collusion. Collusion is illusion. Look up the word. I beg you, people, look up that word. So it does Hong Kong. What do you mean Hong Kong? So it does Hong Kong. Hong Kong. Okay. Hong Kong is so-called free from China. But it's not. Nowhere in the world has freedom. Nowhere. I'm saying the world, not just one country. Nowhere in the world has no freedom. That doesn't exist. Right? The banned backyard chickens. I don't know what that means. TikTok ban. Yeah. TikTok was going to be banned. And when that was going to go banned, I swear it was like the end of the world for a lot of Americans. I remember that. I wonder if people remember that. That was kind of like funny when they were saying they were going to ban it. Donald Trump was like playing with Americans, some Americans. I swear it was like the world was going to end because TikTok was going to be banned. And then he said, "Oh, we're going to put it on." It was playing on and off. We're going to put it on until he waited for some American company, investment company, to take it over now. So TikTok is with America now. So now they could spy on Americans. They're saying, the Chinese are using this to spy on people. And we want to stop that shit. They're spying on our people and other people. Uh, it's a popular program. Maybe we will do the same shit too. Let's take this over. Let's force their hand and let's take this shit over because it's a good tool so we could spy. So you say free healthcare is an illustration, all right? But check this now. Nothing is free, really. But compared to you have to have a job, some insurance to get health care, or all you need is a health card, right? Registered with the government, and I could go every week if I want to the doctor or any clinic, and I don't have any bill. I don't have to physically take any money out of my pocket or from a bank account to pay for my health care. I think I'd rather that. But Instagram Reels wasn't banned. No, they're not banning no Instagram Reels. Instagram is American. They control it. Instagram is an American company. They control it. So anything what is American, they control it and they watch it. They just don't talk about it. There's people who try to expose it, but they just don't talk about it. It's American. That's why they have the guidelines on Instagram, which goes with the American law. Same thing with YouTube. It goes with the American law. You have to look who owns the company. Spotify is owned not by America fully, right? Spotify is owned by, I think, a guy from Sweden, right? So they would, that's why they could do all that fraud, what's called fraud with the streams. Um, a stake or and kick is not owned by Americans. That's why they're going hard on Drake with this whole thing with the Rico and other shit. That's not American company either. Just check out the social media companies what are not owned by America, they always question them. So you're saying Zuck still. Zuck is what? Zuck is Instagram, right? And then you got the other guy, Elon Musk, is Twitter, and he's really not fully American either. But like I'm saying, collusion is an illusion, right? That's put out there. And when you read the definition of collusion, you have to look on all these other countries. And then you look on Canada and America, because for sure Canada and America is in collusion with each other. We share a lot of stuff, man. You got to look on it. We share sports leagues. You got the NHL together. You got the baseball league. We got like, well, we only have one team in the league now. You got the NBA. We got one team. We had two teams, right? Uh, we still share some corporation together. There is a lot of American and Canadian companies. I just want to put it out there. Let me say it again. There's a lot of American and Canadian companies that exist right now, operating, right? Fuck, it's Zuck it. You're joking. Yeah, man. I just had to put it out there because there's a lot of things what's going on right now. News is changing every day, but the 51st state was just putting it out there. Donald Trump's putting it out there that we're together. That's all it was, saying that Canada and America are working together. That's all it is. And a lot of Americans don't want to hear that shit. Trust me, they don't want to hear, oh, damn. We're actually, well, we are working together. That's proof. That's facts. I'm not telling no lie. We are working together. But uh, doing a lot of other stuff behind the scenes, militarily, right? Instagram Reels was the place where we can post whatever the fuck we want. Even YouTube and TikTok couldn't. It's true. Can't you still post the Instagram Reels? You still could do the Reels. You still could do the Reels, right? Just a lower Canada. Yeah, America is just a lower Canada. Holy, don't say that, man. You're gonna make the Americans angry. America's just a lower Canada. But yeah, on Instagram, you could do more than you could do on YouTube. You could do more than you're on TikTok is very strict than anything else. You could do more, right? Yeah. So Instagram, I seen people put stuff on Instagram where I can't even believe it's on Instagram. Couldn't put it on YouTube. You can't talk certain things. Well, I'm talking things, but you can't do certain things on YouTube that you can do on Instagram or Twitter. Twitter is the place. It's like the wild, wild west and stuff. Twitter is the place you could do any damn thing on there. Any type of talk you could put on there. Anything you want to say, you could say on there. It's really not hardcore restricted. It's not really hardcore restricted, right? So collusion, I'm going to encourage people to look up that word, the definition of it, and look around the world who's doing it. And it's not the ones who are the obvious ones. It's not the obvious ones who are doing it. It's the people you least think are in collusion with each other, because that's how it works. You cannot be obvious and fool people. People won't be fooled could, if they're aware. They got to think that, right? People ain't working with each other, and That's how you fool people. That's how you could control a lot of things, right? Thinking that people ain't work. They do it even in organized crime. They've been doing. I'll give you an example. One example with organized crime for years. For example, the Italian mafia or American mafia, if you want to say. They were doing a lot of stuff, a lot of power moves. You know the story if you know about the Thai mafia. And as years went by, even in the past, the guys who were doing the hits on their own people were not Italians. They were getting black guys to do it, to do a lot of hits. And for a while in the beginning, they probably didn't know it was black guys killing their the whatever the other families or their own people. For years, they didn't make people know at first until later on. But that's an example. You might think people are not working with each other, and they're working with each other. Oh yeah, oh yeah. And then in the 70s, they had groups of black guys working with the mafia. But they don't promote that. You never saw no movie on those things, really. You don't see no them talking about that. That's an example of what I'm talking about with the governments. Yeah, right? Uh, Did do a lot of people know, for example, that there's a lot of Africans who are soldiers in the Russian military? Do people know that there's African countries working with Russia? A lot of people don't know that shit. That's why I say it's good to know the world, good to do your education about, do your research about the world besides your own place where you stay. Or you can't really talk about anything but yourselves, right? But people, please like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. Got a lot of, if you want to call it political commentary. Um, Got some with the podcast, the other members on here. We're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, every podcast you could think of. You could listen to different opinions, not just me. Dreams, yeah, not just me, but bless up to Old Man John Crow 416, right? We got a lot of content, but right now people are, scared. People are watching every day. There's like a new episode. You seen yesterday Trump cursing off a guy at I think it was a GM plant, putting the finger to him and all types of stuff. He's a character. It will continue. It's going to continue. Much respect, Old Man John Crow. But tonight definitely you guys could tap in. Tonight I will be on. It will be a late show. Um, my audience is mostly late heads in the night, so tap in about 11 p.m. Like I said, we're on all digital podcast platforms. You could give me ideas what you want me to talk about, right? So, what's the next subject in the chat you would like me to talk about? I might get a guest on here too, a special guest, right? There's a lot of things going on. I talked about ice yesterday, right? The ice is a very popular subject, but there's other things going on. Other things going on. But, anyways, people, please like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. I'm out.